Good morning. Good morning to the second year students. So today's topic is regarding the leukemias. So these are also blood related disease. So we'll going to see the what is meant by leukemia, what are the types of the leukemias, what is the pathophysiology, how it will be leukemias, how the leukemic changes occur in the blood. So all the changes we'll see one by one. So introduction, definition, incidence, pathophysiology, types, clinical manifestation, diagnostic and management. So cancer is a hemopoietic system or the disorder that results from proliferation of the malignant cells. So these malignant cells are originated in the bone marrow, thymus and lymphatic tissues. So these malignant cells are originated in the bone marrow, thymus and then from the lymphatic tissues. The blood cells that originate in the bone marrow are called hemopoietic cells. The blood cells that originate in the lymph are called lymphoidal cells. So remember this one. So generally we have two, that is the blood cells which originate from the bone marrow are called as hemopoietic cells. The cells which originate from the lymph are called lymphoidal cells. So leukemia, cancer of the bone marrow, lymphoma is a cancer of the lymphoid tissue. So this is the differences between the lymphoma and leukemia. So definition: leukemia is a malignant disease. It is a malignant disease of blood forming organs. So leukemia is a malignant progressive in which the bone marrow and other blood forming organs produces number of immature or abnormal leukocytes. So this suppresses the production of normal blood cells, leading to the anemia and other symptoms. What will be happening over here? This is a malignant disease, and then disease will be pertaining to the bone marrow and other bone forming organisms, blood forming organs, and in that what will be happening? There will be production of increased number of immatured. So actually matured leukocytes will produce. What will happening here? Immature or sometimes abnormal leukocytes will be leukocytes will produce. So because of this production of abnormal thing, it may suppresses the production of normal blood cells, leading to the anemia. So this is how the normal normal look, red blood cells, and then these are the some of the leukocytes. So red blood cells, leukocytes. Here the leukocytes will look like that, red blood cells and leukocytes. So all will change. So incidence 3 to 4 per 1 lakh population will be there, and then these people accounts for 30 to 52% of all the childhood cancers in male, 19% to 52% in females. Exactly the etiology and risk factors. The exact causes unknown. The several factors are associated with leukemia, include genetical factors. So high incidence of acute leukemias. So there is an high incidence of acute leukemia and chronic lymphotic leukemias are reported in certain families. So this is the high incidence. Recording hereditary abnormalities are associated with increased incidence of leukemia, or in case of Down syndrome and Fanconi aplastic anemia and trisomy 13, etc. In these abnormalities, the leukemia can be seen. And identical twins and fraternal twins. So identical twins, fraternal twins, and siblings of the children with leukemia. So siblings of children with leukemia. So are increased risk. So overexposure of ionizing radiations and chemicals. So overexposure to that what will happen? Can become major risk of development of leukemia, with the disease developing years after initial exposure. So some of the alkylating agents used to treat other cancers. Some of the alkylating agents are also which are used to treat the cancers, especially in combination with radiation therapy, increases the risk of leukemia. So because ante alkalytic agents come radiation therapy, whenever they use this both, at that time the patient may risk for leukemia. Workers exposed to chemical agents like benzene, that is aromatic hydrocarbon, and a highest risk of this. So this is also occupational. So congenital abnormalities, Down syndrome. So this is a Down syndrome. Presence of primary immunodeficiency, infection with human T cell leukemia virus. So this is the one of the. So we'll go with the pathophysiology. What happening this? All these toxins, radiations, or errors in the metabolism, metabolic errors, or chronic inflammations, or transforming of the viruses. Because of this, what happening? There will be changes in the DNA. The DNA will be changed. Because of these changes, how it will be occurring? There will be point mutation, deletions, translocation, amplification, numeric changes. So because it may undergo these changes, after undergoing these changes, DNA changes, sometimes the loss of functioning of the genes. So gain or loss of functioning of the genes, because of this DNA changes will occur. What in point mutation, the deletion, some of the genes will be deleted and some of the genes will be translocated and amplified, and numerics, numbers changes will also occur. So because of this number changes will occur, there will be definitely loss of functioning of the genes. So what will be happening? In first mutation, it can be seen like this. There will be accumulation of cells. So accumulation of the cells in between first mutation. In second mutation, this will accumulate like this. In third mutation, this will accumulate, and fourth mutation, this look like this. And then last mutation, the malignant cells tumor growth. So with the malignant cells, the tumor will be growing. So this, the types. Leukemia is divided into acute leukemia, chronic leukemia. In acute leukemia, acute lymphocytic leukemia, and acute myeloid leukemia. In case of chronic myeloid leukemia and chronic lymphocytic leukemia. So these are the types, lymphocytic, myeloid. So this is the two types. So the main four major. So it may primary, the most primary differences between the four types of types is rate of progression. So how the progression of the disease in the body, where the cancer develops. So where the cancer will be developing, mainly we'll see how this disease is progressing in the body and where exactly the cancer will develop. So leukemia, chronic leukemic cells do not mature. So what will be happening? The chronic leukemial cells definitely do not mature all the way. So they are not capable of defending. So these cannot capable of defending against infections. So this cannot able to, chronic leukemic cells cannot able to defend against the infection as normal lymphocytes. In case of acute leukemia, they may replicate before any immune function has developed. So these cells will replicate. So these do not mature. So we will see differences. So what is acute? What is chronic? So acute onset will be very rapid. So chronic incidence, time to the death, minutes to weeks. So the time of the death. So here weeks to years. So moreover, treatment, the treatment will be aggressive. Definitely it should be given urgent. The chronic cases, long term and milder treatment. Prominent, immature. The cells, how predominantly how cells they will look, immature cells. So your chronic, the mature cells can be seen. So mostly curable, potentially it may be curable. Chronic, it may not be curable. Query. So acute versus chronic in myeloid and lymphoid type. So in case of this acute myeloid leukemia, in case of chronic myeloid leukemia. So we'll see myeloid. So the the acute lymphoblastic leukemia on B and T. So chronic lymphocytic leukemia are hairy cell leukemia. So this cells become hairy cell, and other circulating B types of cells of lymphomas. So B and T types of lymphomas can be seen here. Only B cell lymphomas can be seen, hairy type of cells, and T lymphocytic leukemia, and then T cells LGL leukemia. So these are some of the types in that. And Sézary syndrome, adult with T lymphocytic leukemia, T cell LGL leukemia, and polymorphocytic leukemia. So this will be very deep. So in case of acute lymphocytic leukemia, most common type of leukemia, it can be seen in the children, it accounts for about 15% in adults. In this way, what will be happening? Immature lymphocytes will proliferate in the bone marrow. Definitely, what will be happening over here? Immature lymphocytes will proliferate in the bone marrow. Because this proliferation, most proliferation is most are B cell origin. So B cell origin. So age onset mostly seen in 14 years of age. Peak incidence can be seen between the 2 to 9 years of age, mostly seen in older adults. Clinical manifestation: fever, pale skin bleeding, anorexia, fatigue and weakness, bone, joint and abdominal pain, generalized lymphadenopathy, infection, weight loss, hepatomegaly, splenomegaly, headache, mouth sores, increased ICPs can be seen. Increased ICP, we can able to know how: nausea, vomiting, lethargy, cranial nerve dysfunction. Nausea, vomiting, lethargy, cranial nerve dysfunction. Diagnostic evaluation. So we go for low RBC count, HB, HCT, low platelet count, and low or high WBC count, and these are the things. And transverse lines of refractive at the end of the metaphases of the long bones on X-ray. So in metaphases, so when you see the bone in long bones, the metaphasis will be there portion. In metaphasis portion, there will be transverse refraction at the ends. The transverse refractions can be seen, and hypercellular bone marrow with lymphoblast. And then lymphoblast is also possible, can be seen in the CSF. Presence of Philadelphia chromosomes. So Philadelphia type of chromosomes can be seen by doing the genetic testing. In genetic testing, we can able to identify in 20 to 25% of the cases. So genetic testing, CSF analysis, X-ray and blood investigations. So acute myelogenesis leukemia. What is this? This is a type of 1/4 of all the leukemia, in which 80% of these type in adults. It is characterized by uncontrolled proliferation of myeloblast and precursor of granulocytes. So it is an uncontrolled proliferation of the myeloblast and precursors of granulocytes. Because of that, there will be hyperplasia of the bone marrow in this case. So age onset is often abrupt, dramatic. Patient may have serious infections and abnormal bleeding from the onset of the disease. So actually increases in incidence with advanced aging. As age advances, the incidence will be increasing. Peak can be seen in between the 60 to 70 years of the age. Clinical manifestation: fatigue, weakness, headache, mouth sores, anemia, bleeding, fever, infection, sternal tenderness can be seen, and gingival hyperplasia and minimal hepatosplenomegaly and lymphadenopathy. Diagnostic: this RBCs, HB, HCT, low platelet count, low WBC counts with myeloblast. High LDH levels. So high LDH levels can be seen because of hypercellular bone marrow with myeloblast. Because of this presence, the LDH level can be increased. Chronic lymphocytic leukemia. It is the most common type in adults. It is characterized by the accumulation of the functional inactive but long-lived, small and mature appearing lymphocytes. So what will be happening? There will be production is also there, and accumulation of inactive So inactive cells, inactive, long-lived, small and immature cells can be seen. And type of lymphocytes usually involve B cells, B type of cells. So the lymphocytes infiltrate the organ. Definitely it may infiltrate the organs. So because of this infiltration, lymphadenopathy is present throughout the body, and there is an increased incidence of infections because T cells deficiency can be seen. And then hypogammaglobulinemia can be also been seen, hypogammaglobulinemia. And presence of pressure on nerves from enlarged, because of this enlargement the pressure nerves and nerves endings can be there will, because of this lymph node, the pressure can be seen on the nerves. It may causes the pain and eventually paralysis also. Lymphadenopathy. So onset 50 to 70 years of age, rarely below 30 years of age. No symptoms frequently. The disease often detected during examination of unrelated conditions. So chronic fatigue, anorexia and splenomegaly, lymphadenopathy, hepatomegaly. It may progresses to the fever and night sweats, weight loss. Diagnostic: mild anemia, thrombocytopenia with disease, WBC counts can be monitored. Hemolytic anemia, that has to be checked prior itself. Thrombocytopenic purpura, it has to be checked. And hypogammaglobulinemia. So this is also one thing, globulin levels will be decreased. Chronic myelogenous leukemia. So this is a chronic myelogenous leukemia. It is caused by excessive development of mature neoplastic granulocytes. So this is a mature neoplastic granulocytes in the bone marrow. So and this excess and neoplastic, this excess neoplastic granulocytes will move into the peripheral blood in massive number. So it may go, ultimately what will go, it may infiltrate into the liver and spleen. So because of this, splenomegaly and hepatomegaly can be seen mostly. And moreover, these cells, definitely this cell contain distinctive cytogenic abnormality. So what will be seen over here? This will be have a cytogenic abnormality and Philadelphia chromosomes. So this is one of the types of the abnormal chromosomes. Which shows marked results from the translocation of the genetic material between the 9 and 22. So what will be happening? Because of this, cells contain distinctive cytogenic abnormality. So in cells there will be a genetic abnormality because of presence of in cells abnormality. That abnormality mostly can be seen in the chromosomes. Because of this, when it will be occur, which says disease have a during the translocation, it may during the translocation of the genetic material between the chromosome 9 and chromosome 22. So that is it can be seen abnormality. So onset 25 this is 25 to 60 years of age, and peak incidence can be seen around the 45 years of age. So moreover, symptoms, how no symptoms, generally asymptomatic, and these patients will have a very fatigue. So definitely fatigue, weakness, sternal tenderness, weight loss, joint pains, mostly pain, hepatomegaly, and also having a splenomegaly, increasing in sweat formation can be seen. One thing. And moreover, so diagnosis. So in diagnosis, we can go for the low RBC count, HB count, platelet count. So in platelet count, early lower count. So it can be seen. Presence of, so in the genetic testing, through the genetic testing, we can able to know what type of chromosome in where it is located, that will be detected. This and the clinical manifestations. So clinical manifestations, it can be seen mostly what is this? clinical manifestations of the leukemia. So overall leukemia rate problems the caused by the bone marrow failure, formation of leukemic infiltrates. So as the leukemia progresses, fewer normal blood cells are produced. So some and abnormal WBC continue to accumulate. So abnormal WBCs will accumulate. Because of this accumulation, don't go through the apoptosis. So leukemic cells may infiltrate the patient's organs, leading to the problems such as hepatomegaly. Mostly the leukemic patients may present with the lymphadenopathy or hepatomegaly or splenomegaly. Because of this presence, or sometimes bone pain also, and meningeal irritation is very rare, and oral lesions. So mostly these symptoms can be seen. And solid masses. So the solid mass resulting from collection of leukemic cells. So leukemic cells will be collected. Called this collection of leukemic cells is called as chloromass. CHLO or chloromass can be seen. So during diagnosis, so clinically we have to do the diagnosis by seeing the symptoms. We have to do the diagnosis. And moreover, one more thing, what is that? Morphologically. So how morphologically done? And immunophenotypic. So there is also one of the tests, the phenotype, which type of chromosome, which type of thing that can be immunologically can see. And cytogenic genetics. So that is also, and molecular genetics. So these are the genetic tests. By doing cytogenetic, molecular and immunophenotypic test can be done. By seeing this, we can able to diagnose exact cause, how it has been occurred, we can able to know clearly. And diagnostic evaluation. So history collection, physical examination, peripheral blood evaluation, and bone marrow examination can be done. LP, lumbar puncture, and CT scan also can be done to determine or presence of CT scan leukemic cells and outside leukemic cells which are present inside of the bloodstream or outside of the bloodstream, or which are in the bone marrow, that will be diagnosed. And moreover, one more thing, pharmacological management. It's a very long procedure, pharmacological management. So it includes mostly chemotherapy and radiational therapy. So first of all, we'll go with the chemotherapy. So chemotherapy is a major form of treatment. So it's a major form. This drug treatment uses chemicals to kill the leukemic cells. This can be drug or combination of the drugs. So one drug can be given, or in combination can be given, or this can be given in the form of pill or IV injections. So for acute myeloid type of leukemias, anti-tumor antibiotics. So we are having anti-tumor antibiotics, that is anthracyclines. So it will anti-tumor antibiotics will help us to prevent furthermore infections and to prevent the tumor. These are the some of the drugs. Methoxanthrone, so this one of the drug, mostly used drug is a methoxanthrone drug can be used. So retinoid types and anti-metabolites drugs. So these are all the some of the drugs. Miscellaneous drugs are arsenic trioxide drugs. So sometimes combination of these all cytarabine drugs and anti-tumor drugs can be given. So for acute myeloid lymphocytic leukemia, some of the alkylating agents, anti-tumor antibiotics, so moreover anti-metabolites and some of the corticosteroids can be given. And not only that, some of the mitotic inhibitors. So this vincristine, most commonly used is vincristine. So because acute myeloid lymphocytic leukemia is more common, so mostly this vincristine can be used, mitotic inhibitors. So biologically and biological target therapy. So this is also one of the type, biological or target therapy. And then miscellaneous type of drugs. So these are the some of the drugs, miscellaneous drugs can be used. Other therapies like cranial radiation, so the radiation to the cranium, or intrathecal methotrexate or citraban injection. So intrathecal ga they will give an injection. This methotrexate injection can be given. So chronic myelogenous leukemia, biological type and miscellaneous type of things. Not only that, combination of therapies. So some of the combination of the therapies, including of any of this, can be following can be given. This type of drugs mostly, and other therapies like radiation, total body radiation, not in case of spleen. Chronic myelocytic leukemia. In case of chronic myelocytic leukemia, some of the alkylating agents, antimetabolites and corticosteroids can be given, biological and miscellaneous therapies. We'll go with the surgical management. When you go with the surgical management for acute myeloid leukemia, autologous or allogenic hemopoietic stem cell transplantation. So we are having different types of stem cell transplantation. So autologous or allogenic hemopoietic stem cell transplantation. In case of acute lymphocytic leukemia, allogenic hemopoietic stem cell transplant. So this can also be done. These are very costly procedures. So hemopoietic cell transplant and alpha interferons or leukophoresis. So these are the one of the type of things, transplantation. And in case of chronic lymphatic leukemia, splenectomy, allogenic hemopoietic stem cell transplantation. So we'll go with the main nursing management. In nursing management, ineffective protection or risk for infection related to neutropenia or leukocytosis and secondary to the leukemia treatment. So definitely we have to assess the client. Hand washing techniques should be followed, and then client should be isolated, and sterile techniques are followed in each and every procedure. So mostly when you are giving fruits and vegetables, that we have to clean it and give it to avoid the to decrease the bacteria. Daily antiseptic bacterial soap or soap can be given for bathing. Maintenance oral hygiene can be given. Daily stool softness. So stool softness will reduce the anal fissures. So perineal cleansing of every bowel movement, and avoid rectal suppositories. Mostly it has to be avoided, and rectal thermometer also it should be avoided. The temperature should be taken oral or axillary, all or every 4th hourly report the temperature. So not only the decreased cardiac output. So decreased cardiac output related to thrombocytopenia. So this is secondary to the either leukemia or treatment. Intervention institute bleeding precautions. So we are having institute they were having some bleeding precautions. So we will advise the patient to have to prevent further bleeding, advise the patient to have a soft type of brushes during oral hygiene, avoid commercial mouthwashes containing alcohol, avoid blowing or pricking nose. So that has to be avoided. Straining during the bowel movements, or using any tampons or using any razors, that has to be avoided. So decrease and do not administer IM or subcutaneous. So these people should not administer IM and subcutaneous injections. So definitely when you see leukemic patient, definitely they will write in instructions, avoid IM and subcutaneous injections. Do not insert rectal suppositories. This is definitely avoid aspirin. So this will cause bleeding type of anticoagulants or type of drugs that has to be prevented. Avoid urinary catheterization. If necessary only, that has to be given, and moreover advise them to have lesser size. Avoid mucosal trauma during suctioning. So unnecessary suctioning should not be done. Remove all the sharp objects around the client. Use pressure reducing mattresses. So to prevent the pressure sores, all this proper positioning. Use only paper tape to avoid strong adhesives. So strong adhesives which are attached to the skin, that has to be avoided. fatigue related to the side effects of treatment, low hemoglobin levels, pain and lack of sleep. Assess for anemia. Definitely you have to assess for anemia and you have to check for signs of anemia. Assess for physical and mental treatment related to what are the causes of the fatigue, and encourage the patient to do exercises and to maintain the strength. While you are encouraging, definitely you have to make a plan chart. So when to do the exercises and when to take the rest and how many times in a day they can do the exercises, that has to be planned prior itself and allow for rest. So imbalanced nutrition, less than body requirement related to the anorexia or pain or fatigue. So mostly interventions, definitely in case of any vomitings, that has to be given before meal, and provide local IV analgesics can be given, and moreover provide the patient with high oral supplement. The oral supplementations can be given. Weight daily, the weight should be checked daily because the patient will have a weight loss, so we have to check the weight daily. If client cannot able to tolerate the oral foods, so we can give with the total parenteral nutrition can be given, and monitor intake and output charts also. Disturbed body image resulting from the alopecia, weight loss and fatigue. Before treatment, inform the client about the potentials of for hair loss, and definitely we have to give an psychological support or entire body. Encourage to use hats at desired. Explain temporary nature of alopecia and encourage him to rest. And temporary nature of alopecia means advise them to have a what we call gundu anamata. So that they can have some sorts of satisfaction that we అంటే గుండు చేయించుకున్నాం అనే satisfaction. Encourage him to balance rest with exercises to maintain muscle tone without developing severe fatigues. So this is regarding the leukemia. So we had seen the types of leukemia: acute and chronic, acute myeloid leukemia, chronic myeloid leukemia, acute lymphoid leukemia, chronic lymphoid leukemia. So these are the some of the leukemias and its medical management and surgical management and then nursing management. So this is very important question, so learn it and prepare your notes by seeing this and by seeing the books. So you prepare your own notes because this is a very important, it is a guaranteed question.